Live at the Barbershop with Q.
Oh, okay.
John, the magnificent.
I'm with that.
I was just trying to amp it up, you know.
Okay. Grind me, thirsty, bout it, you heard me. Grind me, thirsty, bout it, you heard me. Grind me, thirsty, bout it, you heard me.
Live at the Barbershop.
Here we go.
Welcome back, everyone. It is Friday. We are in the month of March. Happy birthday to all the Pisces out there in the building. Yes. Miss Bailey's a Pisces too. I didn't know that. Okay. Shout out to Black IT. Shout out to Quas. Shout out to
Dean.
Dean.
And the Pisces people are
it's a bunch of them.
Very quiet people.
Fish people.
Yeah,
Water people, right?
They're cool.
Yeah, leave us alone.
They're cool people until you get them started.
Yeah, I never remember seeing that craziness in no Pisces for real.
So love, but yo, shout out to everyone again for the month of March. All the Pisces in the building. Yes.
Thank you.
Tonight's show is a very special show. Again, on this platform, we are trying to bring awareness and heighten the mindset of our people to understand what is in front of us and what is about to go down. So again, I came across this, and again, I myself have experienced it while going to school in my younger days, coming from another country, and having to deal with the educational system with private schools and Catholic schools. I understand the dynamics of it and things of that nature. The younger generation may not understand it because it's the same thing, but the process is a little different. Due to the fact now they have social media, they have different forms of information. We didn't have all of that then. So we didn't have all the different outlets that you can research things and get an idea about things. You heard about things, didn't have an understanding. The news outlets back then controlled and dominated everything. So whatever they gold, and you just went with it. You didn't know any different. So with that, I said I had to do this definitely to bring awareness to our people. Not only, again, to remind our people how important you are to this chess piece, this chessboard, because a lot of times I do believe that we put ourselves behind the 8 ball for some reason, subconsciously, not knowing that we dominate a lot of this thing. And again, I will remind everyone again, the power is in your wallet. We are the number one consumers, okay? Which is, again, where we're going with a lot of these blackout situations and all these different things. But we cannot just do it for a day or two and think that's going to make a change. So tonight's program was surrounding a study that was done initially back in 1940, okay? The doll study, okay? So,
Or the doll test.
Yeah.
So, without further ado, let's just get started right now. My name is John. I'm the host for the night. Sitting next to me is my man Q. What it do?
Yeah. I'm here to learn a little bit of the history
Okay.
of this thing tonight.
We'll break it down tonight.
Yeah.
Shout out to Black ITs in the building.
What's going on?
Shout out to Moses, Black Moses in the building. Without further ado, let me bring my man in. AP. AP is in the building with us. What up, AP? What up?
Greetings. How y'all doing?
All right. Shout out to Pretty P as well. Without further ado, our special guest for the night, Miss Yoshika Bailey, is back in the building with us. Good night, Miss Bailey. How you doing? Can you hear?
I'm good. I'm not sure if you can hear me.
Okay. Okay, all
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
cool,
we can.
cool. All right. So the doll study, all right, was conducted by Kenneth and Mamie Clark back in 1940. Okay, and this was to break down a psychological situation in young students to try and figure out. Well, this predominantly was with black kids, and where they gave black kids different colored dolls. They were trying to figure out which dolls would they prefer.
Mm.
And a lot of them were choosing a lot of white dolls. Now, there was another study conducted where Anderson Cooper did a special on this particular one here and had Dr. Spencer from the University of Chicago conduct another exam years after with young kids also, third graders, sixth graders, just to get an idea. They would put out a chart with different hue colors, skin color, tone, starting from white, and it varies. So you would get white, I guess you would say what they call red skin or Cherokee. Then it would move up the hue colors, and then it would go into the browns and then the black.
The darker tones.
Right. So some of the conversation was, again, which shade of color do you think more people would prefer? More kids would prefer. A lot of them chose the whites. Even with black kids.
Okay.
Who are dumber? Blunt, straight out. Who are dumber? A lot of them chose the black. Who were smarter?
And this study was done in black.
Well,
prominent.
Just black and white kids.
Okay, okay.
No brown kids. Just
Okay,
black and white kids.
So.
And who are dumber? What kind of skin tone would more people prefer? A lot of them chose the white skin again. So I sat there, and honestly, it always will bring out another side in you where it's some form of tears sometimes want to come to your eye. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you're saying to yourself, yo, this is really crazy that we are still hearing it. Now, mind you, this is back in the 60s and stuff. And some again, 70s, 80s. This actual one here was conducted back in 2010.
Okay.
So it's not that long ago.
No.
But it's still a reminder of how far we still need to go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And the sad part about it is a lot of black kids felt the same way.
And just to add to that, I've seen it where happening right now around me, even in the workforce, where a black person, you would see a black person in the morning or whatever time of the day, and you just greet them by you greet them. I don't know if it's comfort. What's up, man? What's up, boss, man? Good. And a white person would come. I've seen it, and the just them as, "What's up, sir?" With the sir thing, is what I'm saying. So I don't know if that just instill in the black society to show that more
for respect.
You know, I've seen it. They would see the white guy and say, "Good morning, sir," and see the black guy. I don't know if it's just
boss
because
man or
we're
something like that.
calling that. I don't know if it's just comfort. You're comfortable with the person, with a black person. Yeah. And
Chief,
even in the workplace, I've seen also if a guy comes in with a suit and he's black, it's just normal. It's a guy in a suit. But if a white guy comes in, people start panicking. Who is this?
Some
Is
management
this
or something. Corporate America came in.
management. I've seen it. I've experienced it. People be telling you, hey, you don't know who that is.
Be careful.
Be careful. You don't know who he is. And, you know, I've seen it, but I don't know if it's just comfort. But going back to the doll test, when you said with the kids, if they do it to younger kids. And even not long ago, there was a situation in the stores with the black doll and white doll where parents was actually forcing their kids to get a black doll. I'm talking about black kids, forcing them, make sure it's the black one they get, make sure, and telling I don't want the white one for my kids. I don't want the white one for my kids. Is where I'm going with that. But I don't know if it's just something that we just learn to accept from back those days and just live with it.
Well, we have the perfect person to ask, Miss Bailey. So, what is your opinion on that? Because Q would like to know if that's maybe like a subconscious thing or societal situation. What do you think?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
We
Go
hear
ahead.
it.
Go ahead.
Okay. So I hear what Q was saying in reference to parents forcing. So let me get this straight. So what you were saying is you see Black parents that are pretty much forcing their kids to choose things that look like them. Is that correct?
Yeah, sure, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And you want to know why that is the case?
Yeah, why most kids still try to choose the lightest doll? I've
Well,
seen
You can
it.
say it, Q. White dog.
So we talked about Jane Elliott in her study. I remember seeing the study for the first time while I was in college. That was the first time I saw it. It was psychology class, of course, very appropriate. And then I seen it again, and then I just saw a revised version of it or an updated version of it earlier this week with Anderson Cooper. So when you look at that, it goes back to when it comes to us, it's us trying to make sure we allow our kids to see the value in us, because for so long we weren't enough. We were the doll study depicted how society viewed us. So now we're in a position that our voices are loud enough that we want our kids to understand that we are good enough. We are just as good, or if not better, than the others.
Yeah,
So when you see that, pick the black doll, not the white doll. I want to normalize the acceptance in my household. So starting with that, something as simple as picking a black doll over a white doll allows that child to view and accept who that doll is. So it starts there. You have to realize, on top of society saying what they say about us or thinking what they think about us, or the implied racism that's in the home, because what those kids did was, it was what was implied. They saw adults that they see every day, that they listen to every day, and that's how those adults view those colors. So that's what that was. That was an implied racism there. So on the other end of that, we have our own racism within our own culture, and we call it colorism.
Right.
So you have colorism because you can say John is a different color than you, different color than AP, different color than myself. So if you were to do a study within our own culture, who do you think they're going to choose as the adverse person, the good person?
Yeah, we don't need to say no more about that part.
Yeah. So it's sad, but when you see parents forcing, pick this doll, or we're all Afrocentric in the house, that is us normalizing acceptance that we are enough, that we deserve to be where we are, we work hard for, and you are just as good as your counterparts. That's what that is.
Oddly enough, so go.
Okay, AP, what do you got to say, AP?
I was just thinking about what you just said. Listen, they would do exactly what you just said, but not knowing that John is the hottest head out of all of us. Right? The most militant out of all of us and everything. And he would be the first person that they would pick. Be like, yeah. I mean, they're psychologically, there's something that's innate in all the cultures. Caribbean culture,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you're taught from young, for whatever reason, okay, uh, those Black Americans, things like that, uh, you know,
Yeah.
and white kids and fairer skin and so on. So it's I can't even call it classism, but
there is a such thing, you know that, so it could be.
well, yeah,
Okay.
but I know a lot of poor uh, light skinned white people,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Chan is not poor.
Who said I'm not
Um,
poor?
so it's just, man, I can't even get these words. You know, when you look at something, you're like, oh man, we've come so far. And I never thought that we'd come to Barack Obama, and then 8 years after that, we are further back from when all of us were like born.
Mhm.
That's like what is happening here. So and it's disheartening to see, you know, even with these kids that go ahead and they go ahead and they pick and choose the way they do, because there's something innate that they've been taught or that they've recorded or that they've seen from the adults that they've been around that say, okay, well, this is the way to go. But it
Facts.
could be off of TV, as easy as TV, as easy as the way that their teachers treat others in places, the way that supervisors treat people. Um, and it's like, man, trying to break a cycle that was broken but just reignited just because um, of equality starting to come to pass, because a lot of these things that were normal like this, you know, were like 60 years ago. It's not
Mm-hmm.
long ago,
Right.
not long ago at all. So to see it coming back with a vengeance right now, um, really isn't surprising, because the great grandmothers were those people that were sitting there watching on Sundays people get hung, and
Mm.
people, you know, walking by after church, burning black people. Like, so, man,
You know, it's
it's
funny that you mentioned that. Well, both of you mentioned this, and I just wanted to
Wow.
point this out that Dr. Spencer from the University of Chicago, which also did the study with the different shades, also said that the kids are always near us. So they pick up on what we say and report back in an honest and open situation. We are a society. Okay. So let that sink in right now, so that the response that a lot of these kids had, again, are taught behavior, whether direct or indirect, meaning that they could just be near their parent and hear their parent having a conversation, pick that up, brought that same thing back to the classroom. And when we're asked, what do you think about these different shades? Who's dumber? Who's smarter? Who's prettier? Who's this? Who's that? This is what they chose.
Yeah.
Now, again, it's alarming that within our household, in the Black community, that some kids would still actually pick the images that do not look like them, which would have you think now that that parent are insane. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Because I know with me growing, and again, AP pointed this out in the Caribbean for us.
Yeah.
From the Garvey situation, the Garvey movement, we've always had that mindset. Like he said, I grew up already in that militant Black Panther movement where all of us had African names. We knew about everything Black. We were Black and proud. Miss Thompson, good night. Shout out to Soul Chill. Shout out to Simone Garden. What's up? So with that now, if we're hearing from that parent, this is the same thing I would be projecting in when I go to school. I would say to my friends, nah, we're not hearing about that. And if we knew about Malcolm, we knew about Garvey, Paul Bogle, we knew about all the Blacks that were instrumental in a lot of the leadership roles that were taken. We already knew about, Black Panthers, the movements and all that stuff. So, again, it's surprising and alarming because even in today, in the 2000s, I myself heard it when a few people that we knew moved into what they thought was a predominantly white gated community and saw some Black kids riding their bikes. It was like, I thought this was predominantly white. It's like, I'm like, say what? You're Black. You saw some Black kids riding. So hold up, wait a minute. So what would make you think that it's any different? You're in this community now. Think about this. That you're in a mindset where you left a predominantly Black area to specifically go into an all-white area that you thought was a gated community to lock all of the rest of us out and only have you in there. And then when you saw a few it was maybe about three or so kids riding their bike, it was like, oh, boom.
Yeah, you don't belong.
It's mind-blowing. Then you got to say to that person, what's your mindset? Go ahead.
That's because they don't want to be grouped in with that so-called Black crowd, right? So they try to stand alongside the others to make it seem like they're different. No different than Black MAGA, Spanish MAGA, Latina MAGA, Caribbean MAGA, like all those people that are trying to assimilate, right, to the situation, but don't understand that you only accepted with the assimilation when they need your vote, and after that, it's right back to how we really feel.
Yeah.
With the quickness, but breaking the cycle is what is the biggest hurdle, because it's mentally, physically, and emotionally, you're having to tackle all those different areas to be able to break the cycle of what's been masterfully placed in the minds of many, because even in the structures in Jamaica and Haiti, in Dominican Republic, like there's a different structure that, like the white Jamaican or the white Haitian, like or the white Dominican, that they're viewed differently, right? They could be in the same social classification, same amount of money, but they're looked at differently. They're treated differently. And so I can't say it's solely an American thing, but it does come down to the class system, which originally, I guess that does come from white supremacy in some way, somehow breaking things down, because just knowing that as long as we can divide them, then we really don't have to do directly our work in messing up any situation, because they'll end up doing it for us. And I don't know if any of you guys have recently seen the viral video of this immigration officer who's in his the development, which is a gated community, and the two black girls are walking around. Now the two black girls are light-skinned black girls, right? But he is saying to them, like, you're not supposed to be here. You don't belong here. And they're like, don't belong here. And these kids don't understand. Some of these kids don't understand some of the stuff that's going on, right? But just for the fact of an older man saying, well, where do you live? And all this stuff, like, well, you don't belong. And he's sitting right in front of the home, not knowing, it's disheartening. But we've got to teach one, reach one.
I want to get to that. Know. I want to get to. Let me ask Miss Bailey now. Your personal opinion on that, or professional opinion, I should say. Why do you think it's not of high importance in our community to bring more awareness to the young people from the parents in these day and times now that we're in? Because not much have changed. The difference is we do have more information outlets, but as far as the unity portion of things, again, I say it all the time, even with a platform like this, I don't see nothing wrong with parents gathering with their child when they're hearing the information like this and saying to their child, if they're watching this right now, come here. You need to listen to this. You need to, so we can discuss this afterwards. Your thoughts?
Well, I think there's definitely a disconnect. I think we've become too complacent and comfortable in what our parents and our ancestors did, that we felt like we are comfortable enough that we don't have to go through the measures that they went through. And now we've gotten a wake-up call in 2024, 2025 that tells us that we definitely have to get back into it. We definitely have to pull our kids aside and educate them on who they are, what they represent, and what they stand for and what they don't stand for. So I think at the end of the day, we've disconnected from that fight. We've disconnected from the integral part of our African culture, on top of what the civil rights and that era actually did for us. We've disconnected from that because so many of us have good paying jobs. So many of us feel like we have arrived. So many of us feel like that, as you stated, in that gated community. And I look like them, but I'm not them. So that's where we are.
Right.
Disconnected, and we got to get back to it because this has shown us that we're not where we thought we were. We won't be accepted like we thought we were.
Definitely not.
Yeah. I want to say something about that too. We're here saying we wanna why we're not pushing this to the kids. There's a lot of adults, big adults, people around us is not connected to nothing that's happening right now. They don't know nothing that is happening. The rights of Black people that is just slipping away, and they don't know. It feels like a time is gonna come when there is no more Black History Month. What's happening right now? It feels like a time. Look, just the same as the Tuskegee era. They take that out the military. They don't want it to be taught. It's what I'm saying. And a lot of adults, you ask them, what about the Tuskegee Airman? What is that? What is the Tuskegee Airman? They don't know. So many, maybe voting rights are slipping away, and the next election, when they're getting excited to get this dude out, they don't have a right to vote. They don't even have a right to vote. They don't know what what it might cost you to vote. at the next election.
Right.
Maybe you don't even, they tell you you're not qualified to vote. A lot of people don't realize what is slipping away.
We said it on the show many episodes back. I tell people, you're not understanding something while you're TikToking and while you're twerking and dancing and ratchet and loving hip hopping and all these different things. Power moves are being made.
They legislating every
Power
day.
moves are being made each and every day. While you sleep, it's moving.
All
When
this
you get up and you're posting about food and different things of that nature. The more important things is moving.
I'm telling you,
with or without you. You
But
just gonna
Q,
get up and they're gonna say anybody named Q can't come out the house no more. That's just how it works.
So many things slipping away, and people doesn't even see what's happening. They have no clue of it. The election is over, and that's it.
It's only when it is affecting them directly. That's it.
Yeah, but
they're not worried about it if they look across the street and see their neighbors getting, hauled off or anything's going on. Oh man,
it's too late. It's too late. Just the things that you were just saying, Q, as like the Tuskegee Airmen. So today, the Department of Defense, HEGSEF, the Secretary of Defense, they removed every black, brown, female face figure out of anything military and in the Pentagon. So if you go into the Pentagon now, any pictures with black, brown, female was removed today.
Are these things for real though?
Yeah, these are for real. These are things that were all in Project 2025. Everything that's happening right now, like that, it's all 925 things that were in Project 2025. So when you're talking about Tuskegee Airmen, they tried to do this before Black History Month when they removed it out of the papers, period. And then there was backlash that they had to put it back in. But as of today, there's just no pictures of it. Right?
So let me ask a question. Opposite of what we had back in the 50s, 60s, even the 70s. Why is it that no black entertainers are not more vocal or getting involved with these situations to bring more awareness? Because they control the masses.
They don't want.
You have the Beyoncés, the Jay-Z's, the
it's real
LeBrons.
Easy, man. They got every news, every outlet, listen. They did this so well. Just look at it. Before he came into office, they went at every news station, every newspaper, all those people, right? Understand the newspapers are owned by Rupert Murdoch, which is Fox News. The other person is Mr. Amazon that owns two different newspapers, prominent newspapers. Then you've got the Theo guy from California, who is another Trump supporter that owns the Los Angeles Times. Then you've got the Google individuals that own two other newspapers. So all these individuals own these publications. Okay. And last week, when it came to what CEO of Amazon said, we're going to start opinionizing our paper more so than editorializing. Right? So that's going the route of Fox News. And he said, well, if it didn't really flow with our beliefs and our track, we're not really going to do. So the only way that the information can get out now is slowly but surely what you may see online. And soon that's going to be like
Monday.
Yeah, it's gonna be monitored in the whole line.
Monday, yeah.
It's already
yeah, it is. It is.
There's a certain algorithm right now. You'll see certain people's stuff, right? Yeah. But soon it's gonna be worse, like because it'll be like more like Twitter. Twitter, he runs that thing like he looks at it. Oh, doesn't agree. Oh, okay, you're shadow banned. Boom. So you could post
for the same reason
like
that he purchased it. He's doing the same thing basically.
Exactly. so you look at places like Roland Martin's network.
Mm-hmm.
He does the work, right? But how many people are giving him, the blind to pay attention to support and so on and so forth? And the other people are not going to come out really and say anything in contrast because they're afraid too. Lo and behold, I saw too many of the same people that were interviewing Kamala Harris. Now
they're scared, man. Nobody want to go back.
It's not even scared. They're straight like punks. Like, I'll give you an example. Stephen A. Smith, right? He was talking all that stuff now.
Yeah, I remember.
All that stuff before. Now it's, Kamala Harris was set up and she couldn't really do it. But he's saving face because at the end of the day, he wanted to get that $100 million contract that he got today.
But Malcolm X had already said it, Don't let them advocate for you. No entertainers,
no comedians,
none of them. Don't make them advocate for you because they're easy to buy out too.
Yes, man.
And nobody want to lose. Nobody want to lose.
Nobody want to lose.
They don't want to go back.
And everybody remembers what happened during the pandemic. Okay, remember, y'all. It took 6 months. 6 months. And everybody was crying broke.
Yeah.
So that lets you know that this capitalistic system that we're living in is off of credit. Off of credit and 10xing everything. So the people that have billions of dollars, that's estimated of their wealth. That's not cash in hand that they have.
Yeah.
So it's 10x for businesses. And people are trying to 10x their life when they don't even have 1x. The average person in America right now does not even have $1,000 savings.
Listen,
not even $1,000 savings.
When the COVID situation, and I think we still have videos of it. When that little food pickup, the vehicle was, maybe it's only not a Bentley in the line. To pick up that grocery.
I saw Bentleys though, but yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
I did. So, all right, let me point something out real quick to everyone now. So, let me just go back to the doll situation. So, again, even with this discussion we're having, it's very alarming, but it's not something that we are not used to. 76% of white kids chose that the black image was images of kids who they thought were dumber than they are. 76%. 66% thought the black images were meaner kids than they were. 59% thought they were bad kids and would end up, in jail or troublesome or something of that nature. Okay. And unfortunately, again,
that's not me. That's not me.
You had the same thing going on, unfortunately, for some blacks. But at the same time, I do want to bring this to awareness. You did have a small percentage of some that were neutral. The only problem with that is it is a very small percentage. Very small percentage of those that were neutral that thought that everyone on the color chart should be equally viewed and everything of that nature. Okay, so now also I do want to bring awareness to an advocate that has been a pioneer at bringing awareness to society, especially coming from where she's coming from. So Jane Elliott, I remember seeing her years ago. She's been on different programs throughout the year, and I know anyone that knows the name, probably seen a few videos. You can Google or YouTube. It's called oh man.
Class division?
Say again?
Class division?
No. It's the project itself was oh man, I just lost the thought. But she did a study basically. Brown eyes, blue eyes.
Yeah. I think I saw that.
What's the name of the project? Eye of the Storm. Eye of the Storm. Okay. So Jane Elliott is coming from a very rural spot in Riceville, Iowa. Okay. Now, Iowa, picture that. Population where she's from, 1,000 people. Predominantly white area, but she is married to a black man. Okay. On top of that, when Martin Luther King was assassinated in 1968, she decided that she had to take it upon herself now to really put some form of education out there to these students that she had. And I applaud her. And that's why I said, once again, on this platform, it's never to make anyone outside of our race feel uncomfortable or feel like we are beating against anyone or anything of that. We're just bringing awareness. That's it. These are just factual things that go on in our day-to-day, and we're just bringing awareness to it. So when we do find those individuals that stand amongst and with us to fight for equal rights for everyone, kudos, and we'll give you your flowers for that. So this is what we're doing tonight, is giving her flowers for always standing up and always being an advocate and never sitting down and just taking the side road. That would be an easy route. So now she conducted a study with her class, and what she did, she paired them up according to their eye color. Yeah. So now blue-eyed people would have certain rights, certain things within the school for a certain amount of days, and then it would get switched up. Then she would ask each student how they felt. Mind you, this is a small experiment. This is not even a long-term situation. A lot of them at the end felt angry against her for separating them in a way where they couldn't do certain things. They couldn't be around certain people and right? And you're thinking about it. You're saying
that's what we live with.
Day to day. But you have to give her that much to bring the awareness to the younger set to have that, because remember now, for the younger people, they do have to still grow. So if you put that mindset in at a younger age, they will put that in perspective as they grow.
Yeah.
Just like when you introduce racism at a young age, that's the same thing. So if we counteract that now, it can help. So now a lot of the students, when they got older, they came back for a reunion and they watched the film years afterwards and they reacted to it. And a lot of them said that it did help them because they already had a view of black people one way. And when they had to step into our shoe, which is the same thing a lot of the Indians said in their folklore situation, saying you'll never know how it is until you step into that person's moccasin.
Yeah.
And that's what she wanted to reintroduce, because they used to study a lot of stuff about the Cherokee Indians and stuff like that. But when that happened in 1968, she decided she had to bring that to the forefront. So I have to give her kudos on that, because again, because of that, a lot of footage is out there now where I would invite everyone to go out there and watch it. Again, Eye of the Storm, YouTube. Eye of the Storm, Jane Elliott. All right. Ms. Bailey, I know you said you had to study her during your studies in psychology and stuff like that. So what did you get from, I'm not sure if you even saw the film, I'm assuming you did, but what did you get from it, and how did it help you to be able to process that and to put it in perspective to move on with someone else in case you came in
if I can remember correctly, with that particular study with the different eyesight, the blue versus the brown, this experiment was purposed to expose the unsavory nature of racial discrimination. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
With that, with the separation and her allowing one to do this and that, and just switching the roles, not really switching the roles, but just allowing. So what it showed was, if given the equal treatment and opportunity, that if we were all given the same and equal opportunity, that the brown colored eyes fared just as well, if not better, than those that had the blue colored eyes. And they seemed to make more mistakes once that level was actually evened.
Right. I did notice
And
that as
so,
well.
say that again.
Yeah, I did notice that as well. And, you know, the funny thing, when that came about, I thought about the testing portion, the SATs and different things of that nature, because again, throughout the years, we've always heard about the pressure and the biasness between these exams and different things. The people that are not from our community, they always want to bypass it and say, "Oh, it's it's just an exam. It's just," but you don't understand. Again, when you're coming from a certain area with bad schooling, bad teaching, bad this, bad that, you're expecting to get the same results. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. You might have a few students here and there that's just like an anomaly at the end of the day, and they just surpass. But then the majority, you know what the outcome is. You know, so when I saw that immediately came in my head with the SATs, because some of the students that she had, they said she asked them a certain question and she gave them a certain test or something, and some of them in the beginning did well, and then after the roles were reversed, it took them longer to get these things situated. You know what I'm saying? And that automatically tell you the pressure that's on upstairs. The pressure that's on upstairs. And mind you, you're still in your same skin. This is just a small experiment. It's not a day-to-day thing. It's not a year-to-year thing. You understand? You still get to go back home and just your regular day starts again tomorrow. So this is something where, again, is bringing awareness to people in our community. And again, the sad part about it, again, I'm going to say it 1,000 times over. That's why we need people to really go out and tell people. We need a subscription up. We need people to hit the notification bell, subscribe, spread the word, because again, platforms like these that are giving you gems, information, and different things of that nature, we're stifled at the end of the day. Because again, like he said, even with a bigger platform like Roland Martin is not where he should be. You understand? And nothing against Shay. But again, a lot of these other no knocking anything, but a lot of these
entertainment versus information.
Right. But again, but I'm just saying again, there's no, at the end of the day, yes, it's entertainment, but right now, it's like Ice Cube made a statement in a song one time, and he said, Negroes always got to show their teeth. Always stuck to me, always stuck in my head, meaning they're shucking and jiving. You understand what I'm saying? It's like, yo, at a certain point, you have that platform where you can do the entertainment, but at the same time, can we balance it?
Have a balance, yeah.
Can we balance it? Because you have that platform where you can balance it. You can still educate and entertain, the same thing that we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But John.
But that tells you where people are. That tells you where people are, because they cultivate to the entertainment. What's the latest tea? What this saying about this person? So they cultivate to that. But when it comes to Roland Martin, when it comes to Michael Baisden, when it comes to those different even Joy Reid, because hers ended. All of those different platforms that showed us, that gave us, that were very informative to our culture, we're not as supportive because it's not entertaining us.
Listen, they got
one thing I wanted to add about I'm sorry, AP, just tap it about what I can remember about that experiment. Also, the brown-eyed kids became more confident.
Right.
They were more confident because they were shown that the playing field was level. They were more confident. They were outspoken. And then the blue-eyed they were more intimidated, so they made mistakes.
Right.
You see how that goes?
Right,
Look at society now. More intimidated, so they made mistakes. And then that's when they start cutting corners. That's when the nepotism come in. That's where we have to, because the money is buying it, because the intimidation of how we look and intimidation of what we have. You already know African American women are the most educated, but we go through so much.
Right.
You can't tell because we go through so much, you know, and it's that intimidation. It's that look at, we're the angry Black woman. We're all of it.
And we also have some of our Black dudes out here saying the same thing about the females, about angry Black women, when we some of the Black women have situations just like the dudes, and they call them angry Black woman. I hate to see those things, man.
That's just because they're weak.
Those things, man.
Yeah.
Weak dudes.
But it's programmed. It's programmed. You gotta understand it's programmed.
That's what I'm saying. So if you go back to this study and this experiment, it starts from there. It goes up.
It's programmed.
It's just like what's her name? In Parliament, the Black girl there. What's her name?
Jasmine.
Jasmine, yeah. Crockett. And OC, the Spanish one, I can't remember.
Yeah.
OCA.
Those two females are so strong in there, and so the dudes are so weak. Those are the females who are talking for people. And Crockett now, they're saying she's this, she's ghetto, she's that. I see this on a all Black podcast. Some young dudes saying it, and it was.
That's because
bothers me so much.
Listen, man. As y'all are talking, I'm thinking about the experiments and stuff like that. Because when you look at spring break, for example, spring break used to be a white thing, right? A predominantly white thing in Miami Beach, right? But now, spring break just started this week, and the way that they're treating
all the rules,
all the rules, all the payments, all the fines. Right now, to get over the bridge, it's taking an hour because they're searching every car. Okay, right? So they're putting you through a process to make you feel uncomfortable, to not come. Want to come and do things, because the week before was the food festival, the Sobe food and wine festival, and people had drinks,
no
open
problem.
Containers, no problem, all up and down, no $100 parking. It's $100
an hour for parking now. Yeah.
Okay. So
what you see?
So just think, like it's basically saying, hey. And instead of outwardly saying, hey, we don't want you here.
Right.
No, now they're actually saying, we don't want you here. This is what the commercial says. We don't want you here. The only thing it doesn't say is, we don't want your Black ass here. Right.
But see, here's where the problem comes in. And I've heard it before, and we've seen it before. You'll have those individuals that feel like Miss Bailey mentioned also, I made it. I got the $100. So I'm just gonna pay it and show them. So what? Got $100. I'll pay. I'll pay for 2 hours. Matter of fact, not realizing, dummy, you're giving the person that hates you your funds. Like, what sense does that make? That's the same way when you see people going to these Gucci stores and all these stores, and then they getting harassed, and then you still showing them by spending $3,000 to show you. You're not showing them nothing.
I'm gonna show them that I could do it. I could show them that I got the money. No,
that's an episode of A Different World with Whitley.
It's crazy.
You're giving them your hard-earned cash. Like, you could have gone and invested it. Yeah, man.
Tory Lanez did the same thing. When they asked him, why would you spend the money? Because I had it and it was the budget money. It doesn't matter what money it was. At the end of the day, like, yo, dog, go to a Black-owned situation down the block then, if that's the case. You know what I'm saying?
I was managing this artist. And we're on tour, and it's his wife's birthday. So he says, man, I want to stop by this luxury store so I can get some purses and stuff like that for my. So we get out of the van, and it's about 9 of us. I'm the clean cut one. Everybody got De La wicks, gold teeth, smelling like exotic. You know, we enter inside there, and nobody that's of our color gives him any help. And he's like, hey, can I? Hey, can I? Hey, can I? Hey, can I? And this white gentleman, it was kind of weird. This white gentleman comes up and says, hey,
If you didn't.
You need some help? He goes, yeah, I need some help. The guy says, okay, what you need? He says, okay, let me get, and as he's saying it, he's going to get this 2 pieces. The black young lady walks up and says, oh, you need some help? Blah, blah, blah. So just to make everything look so good, he goes ahead and he says, let me get 5 of these. I remember it was 5 of these, 5 of these, 5 of these, 5 of these, 4 of these, and 2 for these ladies that's sitting over there. And all this, right? And I said to him, I said, yo, man, what are you doing? He's like, no, I'm going to show them that, they can't treat us like this. And I said to him, I said, bruh, now I understand what you're doing, but look at the fellas that are with you right now. You ain't getting nothing for their girlfriends, nothing for their moms, nothing at all like that, right? But you doing this to prove, oh, no, I'm gonna. Man.
Never did.
That's the ignorant stuff that we go out on, man. I heard this rapper also say, yo, man, I bought this $500,000 Bentley. And it didn't do anything for me. For 2 weeks, I felt superior and stuff like that. And after 2 weeks, nothing. But the dealership that I bought it from was less than 5 miles away from my juice bar. And not one person from the Rolls Royce place has ever come by and bought anything from my juice bar.
Yeah, that's just us, man.
But again, we've seen it. So now I have some clips that I want to, some sound bites that I wanted to play, and I want the audience, while we're closing out, I want this to sink in your head real quick. So we went through the studies with the dolls. We went through and found out what they really thought about us and what is taught behavior, what we also have played into within society, within our own community as well. And the images that we've seen on television from different movies, where it's always the black man is the pimp, the robber, the thief, the drug dealer, the da-da-da-da-da-da-da, right? So I'm going to play 2 clips, and then I'm going to end it off with something where I want it deeply to sink into your mind and in your head as we close off. So I'm going to play the first clip. Go ahead. So I'm going to play this clip real quick, and I want this to sink in. And I want our people to remember that this is programming. This is programming. So I want these 2 clips to sink in very deep before this program ends. And duly remind yourself, go to clip number 1.
White men. The lead robbers in America are white men. The largest amount of rapists are white men. The highest number of domestic abusers is white men. The highest number of arrested pedophiles is white men. The greatest number of drug dealers arrested is white men. But if you ask the average American who are the proponents of crime, is a black face to it. They're now trying to create this narrative that the immigrants are bringing in the crime because they never want to own up to what it is that they have done. Part of our responsibility is to pull the sheets off. We had a shooting here in Georgia not long ago. A young man went shot up his high school. His father's now being charged. Can you imagine what conversation me and you would be having if Colt was black and Colt's black father gave him a gun? The television, the internet would explode on the irresponsibility of black fathers, on why it is that young black men have guns and are carrying guns. It has always shifted to make black men feel hyper-aggressive, hypersexual, and hyper-criminalized. It's part of a larger, historic, original sin of America that always criminalizes and points their fingers at black men when it's absolutely not true.
Let that sink in. The second one now is by
That's facts.
Bill Cosby. Now, mind you, it's all playing to each other. This is not stuff we're pulling out the air. Everything that we're seeing plays in with you. These are the chess pieces that are being moved. So go ahead. Let me get number 2, and then I'll close off with something here.
You tell me and prove to me that black people are violent and that they're going to take over, and I can open up the New York Daily News and show you white people who are killing their daughters.
So about the technical difficulty, but go ahead.
Which is where the whole thing happens. It's in the paper. If a black man does something, it says, John Jones blacklist said black, 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 and did the black, black. Now, if a white man does it, it isn't white man Jones. It's just a man. Nondescript, just a regular old raggedy man went out, killed his 2 daughters and his wife, and shot himself. Now, if he does that, then everybody seems to just either sympathize with it or let it go out the window. But if a black man does it, then any white bigot can point his finger and say, see that? There they go again. Well, that isn't right. You tell me and prove to me that black people are violent and that they're going to take.
So let that sink in. That's Bill Cosby. Now, mind you, again, the same Willie Lynch movement and everything that we've saw over the years with what they call it, buck breaking or breaking, right? Where they take buck breaking, they taking the strongest one and make an example. Now we see why a lot of entertainers are not stepping up, because Bill Cosby at his height pointed these things out. Bill Cosby at a time wanted to buy a high brand network.
NBC.
Right? I didn't want to mention it, but go ahead. You know what I'm saying? But that's cool. But and then now we see what we see. All right. And so let me just close out with this now. So these lyrics for copyright purposes is not either one of our lyrics coming straight from Bob Marley's War. Okay. It says, until the philosophy which hold one race superior and another inferior is finally and permanently discredited and abandoned, everywhere is war. All right. Until there's no longer first class and second class citizen of any nation, until the color of a man's skin is no more of a significance than the color of his eye, then there'll be war. Okay? Until the basic human rights are equally guaranteed to all without regard to race, there will always be war. Until that day, the dream of everlasting peace, world citizenship, rules of international morality will remain but a fleeting illusion to be pursued but never attained. There will always be war. Until the ignoble and unhappiness regime that holds our brothers in Angola, Mozambique, South Africa, subhuman bondage have never been toppled, utterly destroyed, there will always be war. Let that sink in. It's funny enough that they did the eye situation And he's mentioning not until the significance of the color of a man's eye. Again,
we said that.
we understand how far ahead this individual was. Okay?
Yeah.
This is something where people need to understand sometimes. There's always a message in the music. You just have to go out and go find it.
And that's the situation again that comes back when we were talking about Malcolm X saying, don't let no entertainer advocate for you because nobody wants the Bill Cosby effects. Nobody wants that.
But again, you either stand for something or fall for anything at the end of the day. And if everything is in numbers. Everything is in numbers. They have an understanding that, if we can separate them, they're weaker. In numbers, they're stronger. They already know that. So at the end of the day, we now have to band together. If you have to lose that mansion, lose the mansion. There's a greater cause at the end of the day. That mansion, you'll end up with a palace later on.
That's what they're not.
So, well, again, don't think that it won't happen to your great-great-grandchild then.
They're not even giving up the Gucci slides.
Again, don't think it won't happen to the great-great-grandchild just because you did not want to just be able to say, okay, look, everyone that came before us sacrificed so that now you're walking free.
Yeah.
Harry Belafonte, there's a lot of entertainers that put funds in to help this situation.
And put in the message also.
So again, to everyone out there, please spread the word. Again, we need the viewership. We need the subscriptions. We need support for platforms like this and every other platform that's out there that's giving you vital information, not just entertaining, shucking and jiving and things of that nature. We need to now band together and start to water the seeds that are going to start moving forward for the next generation to not just be ball players. Like they said, you either got a wicked jump shot or you sling crack rock. It's none of that anymore. We need these people, these younger kids now, to go in and change the laws. That's what we need.
Yeah.
But we don't have enough of them in there to do that. And we don't need the weak-minded ones in there. We need the strong-minded ones in there to make the changes. Stand up for something or fall for anything. So I want to thank everyone out here live at the barbershop. Thank you, Miss Bailey. Thank you very much for tonight.
Thank you.
AP, once again, salute.
Welcome.
Q, thank you very much for the night. Black IT, everyone else out there. Shout out to Simone. See the rest of them. So Chill, of course, family for life. Mouth from the South. What up, Miss Thompson? All right. Rights for life. Rights for life, rights. Yes. Thank you for joining us tonight. Yeah, much. Who else was in the building with us? My other heads out there on the West Coast. Shout out to Khalil, David, and the rest of them. Katie, Callie, the islands. Yeah. Shout out to everyone out in Jamaica. Eki, Jackie, Robin, Wayne, the whole squad. Rashad, the whole squad out there. Thank you very much for shouting out too. And everybody up in New York as well. So again, once again, hit the subscribe button, the notification bell, tell a friend to tell a friend. We're on all the platform. We're on all the platform. You can find us live at the barbershop every Friday, 9 p.m. I hope this really sinks in.
Yeah.
We got a lot of work to do. So once again, I hope this sinks in. Next week, we have a very interesting program. We will post it. I don't want to drop the dime yet, but it's going to be dope. All right. So thank you once again to everyone live at the barbershop every Friday night. Be there or be square. Please go out in the world and be somebody. Thank you.
Go out in the world and be somebody.